Hello and welcome to Human Movement Methods Upper Body Protocol. We're working on the calibration method where we're going to be going through the release it, mobilize it, activate it process. If you've done the lower body protocol, you know that we start from the feet up. Well, when I talk about dividing the human body in half, most of us think about doing it from the belly button or waist. From a functional perspective, in reality, we should actually cut our body in half at about the sternum. So what we're going to do here is Oliver's going to help us. He's going to be our co-coach today. And we are going to work on the neck and the upper body in general, trying to restore function to the upper thoracic spine and neck. In the modern world, it is super common for us to hold too much tension or poor alignment in these structures. And often shoulder issues and neck issues are one and the same. And this has a lot to do with the fact that many of the nerves that control the arm and shoulder come out of the upper C-spine. And due to hours and hours and hours of screen time and just overall not a lot of dynamic yet neck use, people wind up with pain in their fingers, arms, elbows, too much tension in the chest. And often this is associated with a condition known as tech neck or upper cross syndrome, which is where a person will actually have their body kind of forward like this with the shoulders rounded in. And often the correction that people give is to loosen the pecs and stretch the lats and open up the chest and yada, 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 and then strengthen some things. But in reality, this can also be the side effect of poor signal and poor head posture. So what we want to do is not address upper cross syndrome as a solely shoulder positioning pathology, but also look at it as a head positioning pathology and understand that it may be the side effect of overdue neck compression starting from the top down. So the neck is a very gentle structure, so I don't highly recommend doing any of this outside frame of tolerance, meaning if you find yourself like wincing or forgetting to breathe, or you have like electric shock feelings, that is definitely too much pressure, or you're in the wrong position and you should back off the pressure or change the position or both. For this protocol, what we're going to need is your Posture Magic Ball Kit. If you don't have the ball kit, you should be able to get by with a lacrosse ball and a golf ball or a bouncy ball. You'll also need a yoga block, a foam roller, a coach, and a band like this one. So first what we're going to do is we're going to work on the very upper portion of the neck called the occipitals. This is where the spine meets the skull. So I'm going to, with my fingers first, find a bump in the middle of my skull and then go from that bump down to the outside to a few possible positions. You're going to feel that there's muscles. If I look up and down and turn my head side to side, if I'm too high, I'm going to be on my skull. I won't feel anything moving. But if I'm below that ridge, right here on either side, I'm going to feel that there are some nodules of muscle there. And they are going to help us, we're going to release those, because what they do is they help keep our head level and turn it. Those are what we call the main proprioceptors of the skull, and they're actually wired directly into your eyes. If you want to, place your fingers on those muscles, close your eyes, look left, look right, and you'll notice that they activate with the movement of your eyes. They're pretty cool. So we're going to take our yoga block, and if you don't have a yoga block or you have some sort of relative posture difference, you could use like a book, a thin book would also work. And what we're going to do is take our nugget or a golf ball, and we are going to go ahead and place it right on one of those muscular nodules. And what we're going to do is start with 1 minute of saying no with our head. So I'm going to place it on one side. You can see it there. I'm going to hold it in that position, like so, with my finger. If that's really hard to do because you're having shoulder pain, you can use your other hand too by just going underneath your skull. But remember, the key here is I don't want to be on the bony parts and I don't want to be outside of my frame of tolerance. So what I'm going to do is for 1 minute, just imagine I'm massaging side to side, saying no, like this. You have to understand, Oliver is absolutely going to be a part of this video one way or the other. So he's decided that this is happening, and there's not much I can do to stop him. Now, as you are working this area, what you're going to do is feel where that tension is. If you're using the nugget, you can kind of work on the different edges. If you're using a golf ball or a bouncy ball, you may want to hold it still with your hand. And remember, you're aiming for muscle here, not bone. And you may feel like sensations that refer through your face or through your head or even down into your neck. That's not uncommon. There's a lot of cranial nerves that come out of here. If you're feeling that, you may want to back the pressure off a little bit. All right, so that's 1 minute. Now we're going to go up and down. So I'm going to look up and down like this. So we're going to release that by going up and down gently, like so. I'm just going to release that by moving my head slightly. This is going to be very helpful in mobilizing and bringing online that proprioception. You'll notice I'm wearing glasses, and if you also wear glasses, it is possible that one of these sides is going to be much, much hotter than the other because these muscles are wired directly into your eyes in a very unconscious way. If you have astigmatism, like I do, you may find that you hold a lot more attention on one side than on the other. That is super common. And this can contribute to senses of anxiety. This can contribute to, go ahead and switch sides now, dizziness, brain fog, all kinds of things. Poor neck proprioception or neck tension or poor neck stability can contribute to a lot of different factors. It is not necessarily causal, but it can be a contributor. All right, now we're going to do no on this side. So hold that tool. You're going to go side to side. And remember, we want to be inside frame of tolerance. And inside frame of tolerance means I can breathe comfortably. I'm not wincing. There are not tears streaming out my eyes. I'm not grunting. Everything is the way we want it to be. It should feel like a gentle massage, but also at the same time, you'll know when you're on a hot spot. And they move around. So sometimes it'll be in a different place one day to the next. And just like as you've done going through the lower body protocol, you really have to pay close attention. This is not just something that you check out and do. This requires more investment than just your time. This should be a period where we're working on getting in touch with our body, and this is self-care. We're trying to help maintain and care for our body. Now we're going to go up and down like we're saying yes. And still holding on to that in position. Knowing where these pain points are and paying attention to where they come from can really help you go from not having any idea what's going on and why you're in so much discomfort. And people often associate it with getting old, versus knowing what's happening, knowing why it's caused, and then knowing that there's something you can do about it. And that's the difference between feeling like you have no control over the situation whatsoever to being able to establish and realize, well, not only do I know what's happening and why, but I know how it's connected and I know what tools to use to help make the situation better. And that's, in my opinion, restoring agency to the situation. That's really key. Go ahead and come off of there. So now that we've done that, we're going to remove the block and we're going to replace it with our foam roller, like so. And so you can see here I've got a big foam roller. This is my 5 Below foam roller. I love 5 Below for this sort of stuff. And on mine, the middle comes out. So I like a smaller diameter roller for this. So I'm going to lay this right in the middle of my neck, like so. Now we're going to repeat the exact same pattern going up and down like this and side to side. We're going to start with side to side. So get your roller into position, and now I'm going to look left and look right. And when I say look, I'm even going to move my eyes as I do that. So look, eyes left, eyes right, eyes left, eyes right. And I'm just massaging those neck erectors in the back and kind of finding, for me, it is often the left side that's tight in my neck in this specific release. Why do I know that? Because I've done it a lot. And I make little mental notes about when it changes, because that's part of mindfulness. So when it comes to mindfulness, my hope is that if you're looking at your phone, it's to follow along with the video. Outside of that, this is a time where you should be focused on the technique, how it feels, and how it's different and been progressing, because you're checking in with yourself. It's really important. All right, now we're going to go up and down. Believe it or not, fascial tension can very highly be affected by stress. And you have to understand the difference between like fear and anxiety is that when something bad happens or something that I find threatening happens, fear is when I can identify it and then I have a series of responses. I can fight it, I can flight, I can try to run away, I can freeze, or I can fawn. I can try to act docile. Well, when it comes to pain, often people experience pain as threatening, but they don't understand it, which is more anxiety-inducing. So initially there's fear, but then the unknown nature of it causes a lot of anxiety. Fear, I know where the problem is, and I have the ability to take action and resolve the issue, and then once it's over, I'm good. But if I know there's an impending issue and I don't know how to resolve it, that results in anxiety. And anxiety can be a huge contributor to chronic pain. All right, so now we've done up and down, we've done side to side with the roller. So we're going to take that out. And what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to our traps, our pecs, and our lats. And so I'm going to slightly adjust the camera. And we are going to work on traps. Now the traps in this particular case are these muscles right here on each side of our neck, like so. What I'm going to do is take my ball, I'm going to place it on that spot, and I'm going to drive it back into the wall, hugging my arms to my chest, understanding that I'm rolling right at the base of the neck and shoulder, trying to do a massage there. I can hold pressure, I can move my head, or I can roll the ball. It's not a big area, so I'm just going to move up and down or side to side and stay inside frame of tolerance. For many people with neck issues, this is an area that's extremely sensitive. So we're going to spend a minute massaging that and giving ourselves the opportunity to relax. Now, I can't relax if it's so painful that I forget to breathe. So make sure that you're either using a ball that's an appropriate density, which can be a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball, or like a racket ball, depending on your sensitivity level, which is different for everyone. And going harder on it is actually not going to make it release faster. In fact, the more sustained pressure and the more even breathing and down regulation breathing you do, the more likely it is to actually release, because your tissue, your fascia, is not only wired into your nervous system, it's a big part of your nervous system. It has 7 to 10 times more nerve endings in it than muscle, and has a lot to do with how much information the body and brain get about proprioception. That means where I am in relationship to myself. Now we're going to switch traps and go over to the other side. So we're going to lean into the wall, and we're going to roll up and down or side to side, or just apply pressure. But you'll notice I'm folding my arms, and the reason I'm folding my arms is so that the weight of my arm isn't hanging on the muscle. I'm trying to support the arm so that that way the muscle can relax. If I've just got the weight of the arm hanging there because the arm is barely attached to my body, that extra tension makes it hard to release the muscle. But what we're trying to do is get fluid and blood flow and better neurological mapping into the area, so that that way the body is more effectively moving that muscle when we're not thinking about it. Because most of our muscle control is not really conscious 98% of the time. And in fact, it's our fascia that provides most of the postural structure to our body, not our muscles. So what we're going to do is try to map those areas better, hydrate them better, and allow them to release so that that tension can be more evenly dispersed through our body. Go ahead and come off the ball. And now we're going to move on to pecs. Now your pecs, in this particular case, are also known as your chest muscles. They're right here. What I'm going to do is take my ball, place it on that area there. I'm going to put my arm behind me, and I'm going to find a 90-degree corner like this. For me, this wardrobe is perfect because I have 2 corners. It works great. I take the ball, I place it on my pec, and my head goes by the corner so that I can apply pressure into the ball by pushing with my back foot. From there, I'm going to roll up and down, rolling on the pec. So you're going to need to find a 90-degree corner, and you're going to do that right now. So go ahead and find that position, get the ball in place, and we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. I'm going to hold there, and I'm going to roll on that big chest muscle up and down and look for where those hot spots are. And when I find them, I'm applying pressure with my back foot, meaning I'm pushing to the ball of my foot to generate the pressure that goes into the ball. I can work with the angles. The key is that my head is out of the way so that I can apply direct pressure. If you try to do this into a flat wall, you're going to be twisting your neck in a really weird position trying to apply pressure, and that's not helpful. So instead of working harder, we've decided to work a little bit smarter in this particular case. And remember, we want to breathe through these techniques. My legs are doing the work here, not my upper body, because I don't want to generate more tension in my upper body. It's got enough tension already. Now we're going to switch sides. Going to the other side, I'm going to roll up and down there. I'm just relaxing, breathing, and again, applying pressure with my back leg into the ball. Because why would I push with my head or upper body? It's not going to do anything. Instead, I would like to support my hands so that I can relax the area. and allow for that pressure to hydrate the tissue, stimulate blood flow, and start neurologically remapping the area. Because often, if the body has a poor neurological map of an area, what it does is it just tightens it up and puts pain there. So when we start to explore that discomfort, it becomes less about pain and more about new and different sensations. So now that we've done both pecs, now we're going to do the lats. And the lat is a big muscle on the side of your body. And for that, we're going to use the roller. So we're going to go back down to the ground. We're going to grab our roller and we are going to lay it on the side. And we're going to place this on our rib cage, similar to the way that we did the obliques in the lower body portion. I'm going to place my hand on my head. And from here, I'm going to go from straight up and down to rocking back. I'm going to feel that muscle roll over the roller, but I'm rolling backward this time. So go ahead and place your roller in position. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. We're just going to rock forward, backward over the roller. And you're going to feel, the lat is a big flat muscle that runs over the rib cage. But more than that, it's one of the only muscles that attaches to your arms and to your lower back and core. I like to refer to the lat as a secret core muscle. And when we're trying to balance the thoracolumbar fascia, which we talk about in the lower body protocol, the lat feeds into the upper portion of the thoracolumbar fascia and is probably one of the most powerful muscles that feeds into that area. So it's very, very important. We want to release this big upper body muscle because it can pull the shoulders forward and down when it holds tension. And when it's really tight, it makes it difficult for you to raise your arm up overhead without discomfort or changing the position of your rib cage, aka your thoracic spine, which there's a certain position you want that in for stability. Go ahead and switch sides. So what we're going to do now is roll on that side like so. And we're just going to roll forward, backward, and try to open that up. Same thing. Working through there. You want to be just below the shoulder blade on the rib cage, not above the shoulder blade. Like so. And part of what we're doing here is really trying to understand and work with this soft tissue principle of pressure pushing fluid out and bringing new fluid in. And we really also want to get used to feeling how these parts interact, what parts are tight and sore, and how we not only can be aware of that, but how to put words to it. What do they feel like? Does it feel tight? Does it feel inflamed? Does it feel nervy? What does that mean? This is something that's going to help you communicate your experience better, which also helps you understand your experience better. And that's a big, big part of being able to see progress. All right, come on off of there. So this concludes phase 1 of the upper body protocol. So if you're in phase 1, you can go ahead and turn off the video. This is the this is the releasing phase. So we're going to do this phase for 1 to 4 weeks. As your discomfort and pain level goes down, then you'll move on to phase 2, which is the mobilizing phase, which is what we're going to go into next. So for the mobilizing phase, what we're going to do is start with our roller, and the very first thing we're going to do is a thoracic spine mobilization. And what that looks like is I'm going to place the roller just below my ribs. I am going to interlace, and I'm going to put my feet flat on the ground. I'm going to tuck my pelvis, and I'm going to interlace my fingers and place them behind my skull and squeeze my head so that my head is not in the equation. What I'm going to do from here is arch my back without moving my neck like 3 times. 2, 3. Then I'm going to move up an inch and I'm going to do it again. 1. This is a big deal if you sit at a desk all day. 2, or if you've done a lot of heavy lifting. 3. We want to try to get mobilization into the thoracic spine. And again, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to move up another inch. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to move up another inch. 1, 2, 3. Maybe one more. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to take the roller out. I'm going to place it off to the side. I'm going to lay flat on the ground. I'm going to push with my feet up so that my body feels like it's kind of dragging on the ground, but I can't go any further. I'm going to interlace my hands behind my head again. And with this upward pushing, what I'm going to do is pull my chin up and forward, feeling a stretch at the top end of my thoracic spine or at the base of my neck. And I'm going to do this 10 times. That's 2, 3, each time slightly repositioning. 4, so that that stretch remains effective. 5, because I'm basically pinning tissue between me and the ground. 6, 7, 8, 9, one more. 10, just like so, which is awesome. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit up. I'm going to roll to my side. I'm going to prop myself up on my elbow. I'm going to hook my hand behind my knee, and I'm going to lower my head down and pull up. So I'm going to go down, up, 1. Now, mind you, I'm not laying like this. I'm pushing down through my shoulder. So lower the ear toward one shoulder, pull it up to the other shoulder, stay inside frame of tolerance. So let's do 10 of these. Lower, up, 1, lower, up, 2, lower, up, 3, lower, up, 4, 5. I'm not jerking. 6. I'm just lowering slowly and then pulling up. 7. At the very bottom, there's a sense of stretch. 8, 9, and my hand being here, 10, anchors my shoulder so I can feel the stretch at the base. Switch sides. The other thing that we're doing is we're opening up the vertebrae on the side so that the neck can hydrate itself. Again, stay inside frame of tolerance and try to not go into zones where you feel extreme discomfort or pain. 1, if you feel an electric 2 kind of feeling, stop. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Now what we're going to do is work on a basic mobilizing technique, which you can use a hand towel for, or you can use a strap for. So if you have a yoga strap or a hand towel nearby, these are perfect examples of things that work really well for this. What I'm going to do to avoid my microphone is I am going to take this strap, I'm going to place it around my neck, like a necktie, like so. What I'm going to do is from here, if I've got it in each hand, I'm going to cross my hand over to the other side. and I'm going to pull this bottom one down. Then the other hand grabs, and I'm going to put it by my cheekbone. From here, I'm going to gently turn. The closer I grab to my face, the more leverage I have. So what I'm going to do is gently stretch my neck, turning and coming back. That's 1, 2. And I want to go like 60% pressure, no more, 20 to 60%. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'll switch sides, grabbing over the top, grabbing across the bottom, pulling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is pretty much it for the mobilization portion for the neck. For the upper body and shoulders, the main and singular thing that we're going to do is take our light band. Now I'm going to show this in a hands and knees position or in a seated position, because what most people do when they're standing is they do this as they do it, and that's not what we want to do. Instead, what I want to do is sit up on my knees. You can try this on your knees. Squeeze my glutes and tuck my pelvis so I'm in a stable position at the abdomen. From here, I'm going to put pressure outward on the band, and I'm going to go up and over, trying to keep my whole upper body in a neutral position. Just like so. To see it from the front, my glutes are engaged, my abdomen's tight, I'm going up and over, just like so. I know people tend to kind of do this kind of thing. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to apply pressure, slowly work through the range of motion, and open the chest and shoulders, particularly right here. Again, this is common. We don't want to do that. We're trying to maintain a neutral position. So we're going to do 15 of these. We're going to go, it's called over the top. So we're going to go over the top. 1, 2, again without the head moving. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If this is really hard or uncomfortable, there may be too much tension on the band, or the band is too powerful. 11, 12, so you might need a lighter band. 13, 14. If you're using the band kit that I recommend, the yellow band typically suffices. 15. Good. So this ends the upper body mobility portion that is phase 2. So if you're in phase 2, do phase 1, do phase 2, and then you can pause the video or stop the video here, and you'll be in that phase for a while, 1 to 4 weeks, give or take. After that, we're going to move on to phase 3. This is the activation phase. So definitely have this band handy because that is going to be important. And what we're going to start with in the activation phase is something known as a scap push-up. And for most people, you're probably going to do this as a modified push-up to begin with. And the goal here is to learn to push the shoulder blades forward and release them back. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my roller like this, or I can put my hands on the ground like this, or they can be down like this. And remember, if your hands are flat, you want the pressure on the heel of your palm. But I'll demonstrate just for fun on my fists. So I'm going to get into a modified push-up position where I'm going to tighten my glutes and have my head in a nice neutral spot. I'm going to lower myself, allowing my shoulder blades to go back. I'm pulling them back. and then I'm going to push them into the ground. So I'm going to pull my shoulder blades back, push them into the ground. But notice I am not bending my elbows. It's just my shoulder blades. So we're going to do 10 of these slowly. So we're going to get into position. We're going to lower and push. 1. Lower, push. 2. Mind you, my shoulder blades are not going up. They're going back. Lower, push. 3. Lower, push. 4. And I'm squeezing my hands if I'm in fists. Push. 5. Lower, push. 6. Lower, push. 7. Lower, push. 8. Lower, push. 9. Lower, push. 10. Now, if you would like to do a second or third set, you can pause here and you can do those next 2 to 3 sets. And then when you come back, we'll move on to the next portion. All right, next we're going to move on to the pull apart. For this, we're going to need our light band. And what we're going to do is squeeze our glutes so we come into neutral. We're going to grip the band at shoulder width apart with the palms facing in. So I'm gripping it with my back 3 fingers and making Yosemite Sam hands. And from here, I'm going to pull straight back to the chest. Not past there, just straight back to the chest so my arms are in line with my shoulders. And I'm going to bring it back out, which is different than doing this. We're not doing that. We're going to tuck the butt and pull. You can be standing or kneeling, but I find when I'm kneeling, I can get better contact with my glutes and better hip position. So I'm going to do 15 of these. We're going to pull. 1, slowly come back. 2, slowly come back. 3, slowly come back. 4, slowly come back. 5, slowly come back. 6, slowly come back. 7, slowly come back. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. So that's one set. If you'd like to go on to do 2 more sets, pause here, complete those sets, and then come back to the video. Next, we're going to move on to a drill called no money. No money is where I place this in my hands, palm up, my elbows attached to my side. And from here, what I want to do is pull my shoulder blades back and externally rotate and come back. Again, I'm trying not to arch my back. So from here, I'm going to go out, slowly come in. 1, out, slowly come in. 2, out, slowly come in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can do between 10 and 15. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Keeping these tucked. If you'd like to go on to do a second and third set, feel free to pause the video and do that now. Now we're going to go on to 2 neck exercises where I'm going to take my roller, my block, set it on the ground, and I'm going to start by laying my head down, tucking my pelvis so my lower back is flat on the floor, and then keeping my chin tucked and my palms up so my shoulder blades are flat. I'm going to push back into the block and then release. So I'm going to push back for what I call a 1 count. So I'm going to push back, release. 1. Push back, release. 2, like so. So get set. We're going to do them together. So push back, release. 1. Be at about 20 to 60% force. 2, if there's pain, lighten up. 3, push back, release. 4, push back, release. 5, push back, release 6, push back, release 7, push back, release 8, push back, release 9, push back, release 10. Now, you can do 2 more sets at this time and pause the video so that you can do those sets, and then we'll resume with the next exercise. So the next exercise is applying about 10-20% pressure backward, and then I'm going to slowly turn. I'm going to look right, keep pushing back, left, keep pushing back, right, keep pushing back, left, keep pushing back. So let's do that for 10 repetitions side to side. Apply the pressure, and then slowly roll. Right, left, that's 1. Right, left, 2. Right, left, 3. Right, left, 4. Right, left, 5. Right, left, 6. Right, left, 7. Right, left, 8. Right, left, 9. Right, left, 10. And now, if you'd like to do 2 more sets, you can pause the video here and move forward. So that concludes the phase 3 portion, which is the activation portion of the upper body protocol. Remember, you'll be at the release it, mobilize it, activate it phase. Each one is 1 to 4 weeks. So if you move along very quickly, 3 weeks, and that probably means you have pretty minor postural pathology issues and very low levels of daily discomfort. If you find that you have much higher levels of daily discomfort and you have pretty extreme postural pathology shifts, this can take 12 weeks. So it depends from person to person, and it's not just whether or not you do the reps. It has a lot to do with how you do them, how mindful you are, and how aware you are outside of training of what contributing factors might be. So it's really hard for me to give solid timelines because there's a lot of factors that go into it. And then there's all kinds of other things like how much inflammation is present and how much rest you're getting, what kind of foods you're eating. There's a lot that goes into it. So please just be really mindful inside and outside of training, and just pay close attention to your body and how you feel. You're making progress if the soreness and tension moves around. If it's always the same problem over and over and over again, we've hit what we call a sticking point, and that's something that we need to talk about in person. If you have any questions or any concerns, feel free to message me. You know how to get a hold of me. And I hope this is helpful to help supplement your training so that you can move along quicker.